You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
As you know, dealer state associations advocate on behalf of their members, and they fight the good fight for them every day. In response to challenges to franchise laws, the Florida Automobile Dealers Association is stepping up their efforts. Joining us now is Ted Smith, president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, to bring us up to speed on their plans for the balance of 2024 and beyond into 2025. It's going to be an active year. So looking ahead to 2025, first and foremost, welcome into the show, Ted. It's great to catch up with you. Great to see you.
Thanks, Jim. Good to be with you.
Sure. So this is a very hot topic among all of your colleagues out there in terms of what's happening in the area of state laws pertaining to franchise agreements with new car franchise dealers out there. As you know, we've talked a little bit about this. I talk to dealers all over the country, and they are fed up with what's happening. And as soon as I say, well, let's get on the air and talk about it, they go, oh, no, I'm not getting on the air and talking about that. You might want to do that with our state association, but I definitely don't want to get into a fight with my OEM. Therein lies the need, the strong need for people like you and your associations to fight, as I said in the opening, a good fight for dealers every day. So talk to us about what your plans are and how you see this.
Well, I think it starts with looking not only in Florida, but in every state across the country and asking the biggest question: are OEMs allegedly violating state franchise laws through their programs and policies? So what's the answer to that, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, yes, they are.
I think that they are. We saw that with Ford's EV program, which has now been put on the back burner a bit, so that's good news.
Yeah.
There were definitely issues with allocation, the allocation model they were using. We thought that it allegedly violated Florida law. So we see OEMs, different OEMs, not all of them. You know, I'll throw a bone out there to my good Toyota friends and my Subaru friends. I get this many calls from those dealers because for some reason those factories and their dealers are just, they have a perfect relationship, as good as it will ever be. But there are others challenging the franchise laws around the country. So what does that challenge mean? That challenge means that over time, with no enforcement mechanism, those OEMs are basically going to cause a shift in how the franchise system works for the benefit of consumers.
Absolutely. And this is something that dealers need to pay attention to each and every day. I know that some of them do, many of them do, they're concerned about it, but then others are kind of like, well, we're going to be around, nothing's really threatening us per se. Business obviously over the last 4 years has been very, very good, and the franchise, I should say, the OEMs need us out there. But we're seeing companies like Scout that's building an incredible facility and are going to be cranking out units. We've yet to hear Scott Keogh's plan as to whether or not it's going to be sold through a franchise network or direct to consumers. And we've got so many other companies. We're now looking at some of the China EV companies coming in. Will they be sold through franchise, direct? What's going on there? So to your point earlier, this could be kind of a slow erosion of those laws nationwide, right?
Without a doubt, and who's going to stand up? If I had a room full of dealers right now in front of me, and as a matter of fact, I'm doing that. We're doing road shows around our state. We've had something like 800 dealers so far attend in present our road shows in 13 different cities in Florida. And I asked them, show me your hands if you want to sue your automaker when they violate some specific franchise law in Florida.
Right.
You know it's impacting your business, but so put your hands up, and this many hands go up.
Right.
Because as you said, no dealer wants to do that for the obvious reasons. You know, they're concerned about some type of retaliation, or maybe they're working on a program and they want to get a yes, not a no. Listen, there's 100 reasons why they shouldn't have to be in a position to do that. I don't believe. The franchise system is there, again, to ultimately protect the consumer. So when an OEM violates a franchise law in Florida, who do we look to bring corrective action? If the dealer's not going to do it, and if the Department of Highway Safety in Florida and in 49 other states is not willing to do it or able to do it or funded properly, they don't have the educational background about our system. There's all these reasons. So if there's no DMV and there's no dealer, who's it going to be? Who's
That's right.
going to bring the challenge to the OEM's potential violation of law? I think it has to be the trade association.
So what do you need, Ted, in order to secure that position so that you've got statutorily that opportunity to do that?
Well, you just said the right word. It's a statutory problem. In Florida, to bring an action against an OEM, there's only two people that can do it. I said DMV, they can't, they won't, so forth. The dealer is the other person. In our law, it says a dealer or a person with an interest in a dealership may bring a challenge before the Department of Highway Safety to get a declaratory ruling that something that an OEM is doing is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So that the law is very specific. It says a dealer or a person with an interest in.
Right.
In our case, when we took the Ford Motor Company to federal court, the judge said, FADA, you do not have standing because you're neither one of those. You're not a dealer or a person with an interest. You're the trade association. So he said, okay. Now, Jim, there's only 2 or 3 states that have standing statutorily, and some of them are not even able to use that particular standing. So this is a big challenge. This is maybe the most important thing I believe that we can do in Florida in 2025,
Sure.
and maybe the most important bill that we've ever put in front of the legislature, because it will be a way to say to factories, look, you now have someone regulating your improprieties. When you have a program that clearly steps on warranty law or allocation laws, there's someone that can cause the DMV or a court to look at that program, evaluate it, and make a decision.
Yeah, and so right now, the OEMs are aware of this, obviously, and they know that they're in a safe zone. They're kind of skating, they're threading the needle here and saying, well, neither one of these entities are going to come after us. To your point, the dealers or the DMV. So therefore, the coast is clear.
It's kind of open season, and
yeah.
I'm not suggesting that automakers are, making decisions in their boardrooms. Oh, let's go do that because we know we can get away with it. I just think that, in their desire to peer across the fence into what dealers do, they want to take on some of the functions of dealers. We know that's a problem countrywide.
Sure.
So we have some provisions in Florida law that are going to say, no, Mr. Automaker, you do what you do. My dealers are going to do what they do. But if you step across that line, we've got to say, no, that's inappropriate and allegedly illegal. So stop that practice. Go back to doing what you're good at and let our dealers do the selling and the servicing of automobiles in Florida.
Sure.
It's a system, Jim. You and I both know it works.
That's right. The state's got a vested interest in this too because of the number of people that Florida dealers employ, the tax dollars that come out of Florida dealers that go to the state. I mean, there's so many different reasons that you would think that the state of Florida, as in the case of other states, would want to shore up the position of franchise dealers in their state, right? And protect them against any OEMs that are getting a little crazy with their distribution concepts.
Well, yeah, do it for competition, but
Yeah.
do it because it's a $105 billion industry in Florida.
Mm.
And I remind legislators all the time that we are 15% of sales tax collected.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a huge part of the economic fabric of this great state of Florida.
Yeah.
The state budget's only $110 billion, and my dealers put $6.2 billion a year into that system.
Wow.
So you got to recognize it's a huge part of the economy. So there are economic reasons to do it. But how about just fairness? Look, dealers are regulated by 5 state agencies in Florida. All we're saying is the major regulation of automakers is DMV. If they are not willing or not able to do it, then someone else must be put in a position to at least bring an issue to somebody for adjudication, be it DMV or a court.
Mm-hmm.
And, give us the ability to go either way. And the only reason to do that would be if there's a perceived violation of the law. If whoever that body is makes a decision that it isn't a violation of the law, then fine.
That's right.
But if they make a decision that it is, then that's going to send a stark message to all of the OEMs that when you come to Florida, you better follow Florida franchise law.
Right, right. Yeah,
I think that's
you're not asking too much there, are you? So what do you say to the dealer that's watching right now somewhere that says, I hear what you're saying, Ted, but Tesla's been around and Lucid's been around and Rivian's been around, and it really hasn't hurt my business. And if other car companies want to march in and sell directly to consumers, by God, let them.
Well, this isn't just about the issue of who can sell to whom. This is an issue of, again, following the existing fabric of laws.
Yeah.
Paying dealers properly for warranties, allocating vehicles properly, not taking deposits like you're a dealer in Florida. You no longer can do that. We had a substantive law change in 2023. This is more about, again, programs and policies implemented by our partner automakers. It's not the battle of Tesla versus, we already know we're better than Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, our model works better. It's not OEM direct to consumer. It's OEM to dealer, dealers competing like crazy for the business of the consumer. That's not even an issue here. What's at issue is we need to be able to talk about the realities of having dealers in the marketplace and being able to operate in a way that the franchise laws dictate for the protection of the consumer. So how hard is this going to be to get done? What I would say to my dealers is just this. If you know that you don't want to stand up, if you want your association to be able to do this for you, then you've got to get active. You can't sit in Lakeland, Florida, or in Wauchula, or in Palm Beach and watch this happen. You need to get on the phone with your local legislator and explain this very difficult concept.
Yeah.
Your elevator speech is protect this industry format for my consumers by passing a law so that there's the same regulation of factories as there is for dealers.
That's right. Florida dealers, for those of you that are watching, and I know there's a great number of you watching the show right now, it's time to step up. Help out Ted and his staff there at the association. They need you to, scream at your at your state association your state representatives, and contact Ted and his team to say, what can I do? How can I help? Obviously behind the scenes, but there's nothing wrong with calling in your congressman or your senator, I should say, and your state senates, and get in front of this, because it's otherwise you turn around and you go, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How come we weren't notified? How come we weren't able to play a role? Well, now's the time to get involved. So, and this holds true for so many other state associations, your colleagues out there and dealers that are watching. And it's not always fun, but it's something I think you got to do. If you listen, it might be something, the call that you make and the relationships that you build, you're helping your family keep that dealership intact the way that you've got it now. So, Ted Smith, president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, thank you so much for spending some time with us here at CBT News. It's always great hearing from you, and love to do a follow-up on this very story and others. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. You're a great voice of our industry. I appreciate you very much.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.